Good day, everybody. I hope that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today, we'll be doing our grade 3 English lesson on subject and predicate. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once we've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of language arts, grade 3. And then we're going to scroll down up until we get to a subject of subject and predicate. All right, so today our chapter is its subject and predicate. Our subject is English language arts. Grade 3. And the lessons that we're focusing on under the chapter of subject and predicate is to identify the complete subject of a sentence. It's to identify the complete predicate of a sentence. And it's also to identify the simple subject or predicate within a sentence. And we are doing a tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. All right. So when it comes to subject and predicate, right? So every sentence has a complete subject and it also has a complete predicate. And the complete subject, it tells us who is doing what. So I said every sentence, so we say every sentence has it has a subject or complete subject as well as a complete predicate. And the complete subject, it tells us who or what is doing something. So that is a complete subject. So complete subject, it tells us who or what is doing something. And a complete subject can be one word or it can be more than one word. For example, she sleeps a lot, which means that she is our complete subject because it tells us who is doing something. Or we can say her friends sleeps a lot. And as you can see, that is two words, which is her friend. So her friend sleeps a lot. So it's either one word, which is she, right? That's a complete subject, and she sleeps a lot. Or two words, for example, in her friend, in the sentence of her friend sleeps a lot. Or can be more than one word or more than two words, which is her best friend. That's our subject within the sentence of sleeps a lot. Her best friend sleeps a lot. And each complete subject, it tells us who sleeps a lot. So it's she sleeps a lot, her friend sleeps a lot, and her best friend sleeps a lot. So the words that I'm going to underline, circle, those are our subjects, our complete subjects. So it can either be one word or it can be more than one word. And then we also have a complete predicate. And a complete predicate, it tells us what? It tells us what the subject is doing. So we have a complete predicate and it tells us what the subject is doing. And the complete predicate, right? It is a verb plus any other words that tell you more about it. And also when it comes to the complete predicate, right? The complete predicate can also just be one word, or the complete predicate can be more than one word. And if we look at examples, right, it says her friend sleeps, right? And we see the complete predicate, it tells us what the subject is doing, the action that the subject is doing. So in this case, or in the sentence, it says her friend sleeps a lot, right? Or her friend sleeps, which means that sleeps is our predicate. In the next sentence, because remember we said a predicate can either be one word or it can be more than one word. So her friend sleeps. And then if we look at the next sentence, it says her friend sleeps a lot. So basically, sleeps a lot is our predicate. So sleeps a lot is also a predicate. And that is why we said it can be either one word or it can be more than one word. That shows the action plus the other words that comes after it. Or if we look at another sentence, right, where it shows a complete predicate that tells us what the subject is doing, and then we can say her friend sleeps a lot on the weekend. So it's basically sleeps a lot on the weekend, which is our predicate. And once again, we see the complete predicate. It tells us what the subject is doing. And our subject, it tells us who or what is doing something. And when it comes to our predicate, right, our predicate is a verb plus any other words that tells us more about it. So any other word that tells us more about the action, that is basically our complete predicate. And a predicate can be one word or a predicate can be more than one word. And the circled words, these are all our complete predicate, either one word or more than one word, which is sleeps, sleeps a lot, or sleeps a lot on a weekend. Whereas our subjects, because we said a complete subject tells us who or what is doing something, can also be one word or more than one word, which is she, her friend, her best friend. And when it comes to the subject, then each complete subject tells us who is sleeping a lot, which is her friend, she, or her best friend. And then when it comes to the predicate, each complete predicate tells what her friend does. The friend sleeps, sleeps a lot, or sleeps a lot on a weekend. All right. And then when it comes to simple subjects, right? And then we have a simple subject, and the simple subject, it tells us who or what is doing something. So we have a simple subject, right? And the simple subject basically just tells us who or what is doing something. And our simple subject, it is just the subject noun, or it can be the pronoun. And the simple subject, it is it's the subject noun or the pronoun without any other words that tells us more about that subject. So, for example, she sleeps a lot, right? Which means that she is our pronoun or noun. Then we say her friend sleeps a lot, which is in her friend. Or the best friend sleeps a lot, right? So just friend. Because it's basically just the subject noun or it's the pronoun. So it's either just she or it's friend. And each simple subject, it tells us who sleeps a lot. And the simple predicate, it tells us what the subject is doing. So the simple predicate will tell us what the subject is doing. And with the simple predicate, it is basically just the verb without any other words. It tells us more about it. For example, her friend sleeps, which is sleeps. Her friend sleeps a lot, which is sleeps. Her friend sleeps a lot on a weekend, which is sleeps. And that is just the verb, a simple predicate. And each simple predicate tells us what the friend does. So basically, our lessons for today or our chapter for today is subject and predicate. And as we said, a subject, it tells us who or what is doing something, and our predicate tells us basically who or what did the action. And then we have a simple subject, and that tells us who or what is doing something, but it's only the subject, noun, or the pronoun. And we see that we are doing our tutorial lesson on aplusstudents.ca. All right. So let's go to aplusstudents.ca. And we said our chapter is subject and predicate. And we're going to the first lesson, which is to identify the complete subject of a sentence. And we said every sentence has a complete subject and every sentence has a complete predicate. And the complete subject it tells us who or what is doing something. And when it comes to a complete subject, it can be either one word or it can be more than one word. And examples of a complete subject is she sleeps a lot. So which means our complete subject is she. And then her friend sleeps a lot. So which means that our simple, not a simple, but a complete subject is her friend sleeps a lot. Or if we still identify a complete subject, we can say it's her best friend sleeps a lot. So that is basically our full and complete subject that tells us who or what is doing something. And each complete subject, which is she, her friend, or her best friend, it tells us who sleeps a lot. It's either a friend, she sleeps a lot, her best friend sleeps a lot, or her friend sleeps a lot. All right. And did I mention that it can be one word or it can be more than one word? And now we can go to, let's do an activity where we can select one word that makes up the complete subject. For example, students raise the money. Students raise the money. What is the complete subject that tells us who or what is doing something? Students raised the money. Who is doing the action? Or who or what is doing something? And if we were to select one word that makes up a complete subject, we will choose students. Students raise the money. So, which means that the question is the complete subject is who or what is doing something. So, basically, it's the students that is doing something. And what are they doing? They raise the money. And that is correct. Students are correct. So, well done. Students are correct. Because it basically tells us who or what is doing something. So, who or what is raising money, which is the students. So, students is our complete subject. So, we need to select one word that makes up a complete subject. Dalton sold his bike. Dalton sold his bike. So, Dalton sold his bike. What is our complete subject, or who is our complete subject within that sentence? Who or what is doing something? It says Dalton sold his bike. So basically, if we choose one word that makes up a complete subject that tells us who or what is doing something, and then Dalton is our subject who sold his bike. Yes, that's correct. So Dalton is our subject and he sold his bike. So Dalton is correct. And then we need to choose one more word to complete to make up the complete subject. All right. So if we choose the one, we can say mice. So well done. Mice is correct because mice, it tells us who or what is doing something. All right. So now we're going to our test. So we now need to identify the complete subject of a sentence, but within our test, right? So it says select the one word that makes up a complete subject. So we need to select one word that makes up a complete subject. And the complete subject, it tells us who or what is doing something. And we need to select one word that makes up a complete sentence. It says mice squeaked softly. Mice squeaked softly. Is it mice or is it softly? All right. And if we were to choose one word that makes up a complete subject, mice squeaked softly, we will go with mice, which will tell us either what or who did something. And in this case, squeaked softly, which is the mice. All right, so we said we need to select three words that make up a complete subject. Three words. So we said in the first one, it was mice. Now over here, it says the brown horse escaped. So if we choose three words that make up a complete subject, we will say the brown horse. And the brown horse is correct. So well done. So we see that we select the two words that make up the complete subject. Scott's dad chopped the wood. Scott's dad chopped the wood. So we can go, yes, wonderful, beautiful. So, yes, Scott's dad is correct. So, Scott's dad is correct, right? And it says, our neighbor fed the dog. Our neighbor fed the dog. We need to select two words that make up the complete subject. Our neighbor fed the dog. Is it our neighbor or is it the dog? The two words that make up the complete subject. And if we choose the correct words to show the completed sentence or the complete subject, sorry, and then it is our neighbor. Yes, so well done, everybody. Our neighbor is correct because that is the two words that shows the complete subject, right? And then we said we have a complete predicate of a sentence. And the complete predicate of a sentence tells us what the subject is doing. And it is basically the verb plus any other words that tells us more about what the subject is doing. It can be one word or it can be more than one word. For example, her friend sleeps, which means that sleeps is our verb. All right, so we need to select the complete predicate. And we said her friend sleeps a lot. So sleeps a lot is a predicate. And then her friend sleeps a lot on the weekend. And sleeps a lot on the weekend is her predicate. And as you can see, the predicate is basically the verb plus any other word that tells us more about it. So sleeps a lot, or sleeps a lot on the weekend. That is our predicate. So now we need to select one word that makes up a complete predicate. Mrs. Newman's team won. Mrs. Newman's team won. What is our verb within that sentence? So we can say, Mrs. Newman's team won. And won is our predicate. So well done, won is correct. So we said the complete predicate. It is basically the verb and any other words that tells us more about it. All right, so now we're going to our test. We're going to begin a test where we need to identify the complete predicate within a sentence. And remember, predicate is the verb that tells us what the subject is doing. And it can be one word or it can be more than one word. So honeybees sting people sometimes. So we need to select three words that make up the complete predicate. So honeybees sting people sometimes. And if we were to select the correct one, we will say it is sting people sometimes. So now we need to select three words that make up a complete predicate. So sting people sometimes is correct. So well done. Now we're going to the next one, which says that diner serves French fries. We need to select the three words that makes up the complete practice or predicate. And if we select the three words that make up a complete predicate, we will say serves French fries. Serves French fries. So well done. Serves French fries. Because remember, they said that they want three words. And the first one is correct. And the farmer gathered the ducks. So we need to select three words that make up a complete predicate, which is the farmer gathered the ducks. And if we select the three words that make up a complete predicate, we can say gathered the ducks. So if we choose the three, we'll say gathered the ducks. So gathered the ducks. And gathered the ducks are correct. So well done. So if we select the two words that make up the complete predicate, and then it will be taught math. Taught math. That woman taught math. So we need to select two words that make up the complete predicate. The woman taught math. The woman taught math. So taught math. So we can say taught math, right? Grandma wakes up at dawn. So if we select the three words that make up a complete predicate, three words, we would say wakes at dawn, because that's a three words, wakes at dawn. And wakes at dawn is correct. And if we select the word that completes the predicate, shows a complete predicate, and then we will have one. All right. Yes, is it Ruth? No problem. We will definitely do that. Right? We usually do have an interactive class, but then most times the students on here, they have their own conversation where they are roasting each other. But one is correct. All right, but definitely next time when we are having our next session. So that is the end of our subject, or our, let's say, our chapter on subject and predicate. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining our class as well as for interacting. Um, till next time. Goodbye.